Hi, Trong. Welcome to the Sales Leadership Series. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Jessica, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm excited.
Would love to hear more about your background, your sales skills, and just share with us a little bit more. But let me just introduce Trong Nguyen is the client director at ServiceNow, and he has a ton of enterprise sales experience. He has written two books, and this is the second one called Winning the Bank, which I really enjoy reading. If you want to learn about sales tactics, he really goes into it. But it's also a wonderful story of your journey from Vietnam coming to America, the land of opportunity, and how you have really excelled and been very successful in sales and technology. So welcome to the show. Please, Tron, I'm going to hand it over to you to talk about your role responsibility at ServiceNow and talk more about the sales leaderships that you experienced.
Sure. So Jessica, for those of you who don't know, ServiceNow is a born in the cloud company. We help automate business processes for companies across the board in every industry, and we're growing so rapidly. So we're always looking for top talent in the industry. I'm a client director at ServiceNow, and what that means is actually lead a team that looks after some of the biggest banks on Wall Street, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So a bit about my background. I kind of grew up in Canada, did my undergrad there, did my MBA at the University of Chicago. I've been in sales for a long time at Microsoft, Dell, IBM, and now ServiceNow, all at the global enterprise level. So I'm loving it.
Yes, and I know you've worked at big companies like IBM and Microsoft and now ServiceNow. These are big companies. I'm wondering if the enterprise sales methodology is different for each one. So talk to us about the methodology and what works and what doesn't work.
You know, it's funny. What I found is that the culture of the companies are very different, but the sales methodologies were actually pretty much about the same. That I found across all of the companies I've worked with. When you deal with big global customers, if you want to be successful in enterprise sales, it's a bit of art and science together. And I'll tell you what that means. You know, the art of it is kind of building the right relationships at all different levels, from technical to executive leadership team, across different functions, from IT to HR to legal to customer service. So to have that kind of ability, that's the art of it. But the science is actually pretty much the same as well, where, you know, what we do, and I've done this at all the companies I've been in, is one, you have to know your customers inside out. So spend as much time with your customers as possible, getting to know their business, digging deep to find out what makes that company tick, understanding what their business issues are, understanding what their problems are. And then from there, you take your company's solutions and then you marry it together. What can you do to help them do one of two things? Because business, when you kind of net it down, it's very simple.
Okay.
Your solution can either help them kind of grow their revenues, or it can help them reduce operational costs.
Okay.
That's it. Like, there's no magic to it. And to the extent that your solution can help the companies do that, then you have a winning solution, and that's how you kind of close deals.
Okay, so either increase sales revenue or lower the cost, which then contributes to the profit margin.
Exactly. You got it. You got it completely.
So which methodology? Is it like the challenger methodology?
You know, I've been through so many sales schools. I've got a hybrid of a bit of all of them.
Okay.
It's funny because when I read the Challenger sale, it did really resonate with me. Like, you do have to have the internal fortitude to really challenge your customers, help them think out of the box, because some of your customers have been in their companies, in their positions a long time, and they just need a spark. They need something that will kind of rejuvenate them, to get them to think a bit differently. But by the same token, as you're challenging your customers, I would task you to actually challenge your own company. What I found, I'll give you what I mean by that. What I found is that, you know, your leadership in your company, your product managers, sometimes we get so siloed in our own views of things that we think, hey, we're the smartest people in the world. We created these products, and this is how the customers should use it. But when you get to the real world, the customers will figure out that, hey, you know what? There are gaps here in terms of the functionality, in terms of the product, and they've got so much valuable insight and feedback that you can actually give back to your leadership team to go, hey, you know what? I think this customer has some valid opinions and points of views that can make us a lot better.
Yes.
Right? And when you feed that back into your own company, and then they take that up into their products, it makes it so much better than it was before.
Yes, you're right. I think if we're open to other people's thinking or their feedback, then that will help us to stay innovative, right? Just to make sure that the customer comes first, fulfilling their needs.
Exactly.
Delivering value.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like in sales, we run into so many what we call gatekeepers, right? So they could be at any level. They could be a director, they could be a VP, but what they want to do is kind of keep you in your little hole so that you can't kind of broaden out, build the relationships that you need. And I've had this happen to me pretty much at most of the customers that I've ever dealt with, right? And my response has always been the same, right? They always come to me and go, hey, you funnel everything through me, you talk through me, and then, if you don't, I'll make sure you never come here again.
Yes, they threaten you. They try to control you.
And I'll kick you out. And my message has always been, hey, listen, I'm happy to take that advice, but I want that in writing from your CIO, right? So the CIO is usually like 4 levels above them, right? And I want their boss copied on that note. And if that's how they want the relationship to be, I'm totally fine with that. And when you call them out on that, they go, and they completely back off on that because they know that that's just an empty threat. Like they don't have the autonomy or the authority to actually do something like that.
Right.
So.
Yes. Let's switch a little bit. In terms of sales, your function means that you rely on a lot of different other team members, right? There's someone to do research, someone to, that's all kinds of people involved in the team. So how big is your team and who are the other players that you pull into the team?
Yeah, so, in big pursuits, our team can grow to be 30, 40 to 50 different people. And we would have actually so many different functions around that. So you're talking about sales support, marketing support, operational support, legal, finance, your executive leadership team, like everyone is in there. So by the time you add it all up to the extended team, you're talking about 40 to 50 people easily.
Wow.
And I think the key to managing that type of a large team is early on, you have to kind of paint a vision, like where you want to take this customer on this journey with your company for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then have everyone bought off on that vision. So when they buy off on that vision, they go, okay, I totally understand where Trong wants to take this and how we're going to go close this deal, how we're going to win this business, and I understand my part in it.
Okay.
So when they understand their part in it, then they go, I get it. Okay, this is how we actually make a difference.
Right.
You know what? The net of it is everyone wants to make a difference, right? So
to feel value, to know your contribution.
Exactly.
So it is like a team. And someone is like the quarterback, someone's the front runner, blocker, and all that. And they having clear objectives is actually one of the key ingredients of sales management, right? Making sure you have objectives, clear KPIs, and all that. So at ServiceNow, if you are targeting the banks, and I think you cover New York, right?
Yeah.
Are we talking about like $1 billion kind of company, multi-billion dollar companies? These are like 2 years sales cycle. Explain about your type of clients. Yeah,
well, let's just say these are the largest banks in the world. And I can't kind of name names, but you'll know who they are. They're the standard kind of picture the top 10 banks in the world.
Okay.
And that's kind of who we call upon. So these deals, the cycles take a long time. Make no mistake about it. They could last, 12 to 24 months. That's how long it takes.
Okay.
To move a bank from one platform to another or one technology to another. Mm-hmm. First, it takes you a good year to go sell that solution and touch all the right players that would actually make that type of decision, because it's all by a big committee now. It's not like one or two people in that size of a company. Yeah. And then after you kind of get through selling, you actually have then to negotiate all of the legal T's and C's, the contractual pieces. Yep. And they have so much regulations that they have to follow through, that they have to meet, that it could take you a year to negotiate that legal contract. So brace yourself for a long sales cycle.
Yeah, one of the things that you said in the book was, don't go talk to the higher up people. Start from the very bottom and try to find information through these other folks low in the ranks before you go up the hierarchy. Is that right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And one of the key tenets I live by is I live by data, right? You have to try to get as much data as possible. And so what I do is I talk to business partners, I talk to customers, I talk to competitors, I talk to my extended team. Get as much data as you can, right? And then build your way up through the ranks. So, you start at the low technical levels, you get some interesting perspectives and data points, and then you kind of bring that up to their leadership team. And then you kind of start sharing that across to different folks that might get value out of it. And as you're sharing data with them, they will start sharing data back with you, because it's always kind of a relationship and a quid pro quo. And then kind of take all of that relationship, all that data across the organization that you've kind of learned, and then you move it up to the next level, which is at the director or VP level, and then you get to the executive levels. So you really trade on data at that point.
Okay. Let's switch to the marketing department. I know in sales you work very closely with marketing. If you could tell us a little bit more about that, the relationship, what they do, what you rely on, and how important is marketing?
I got to tell you, I love marketing. And this sounds very, very funny because, what I found is the best salespeople embrace marketing like partners, right? And what I mean by that is, marketing does a great job of providing good air cover for you with hosting events, doing stuff, awareness in your regions, in your companies, in your country, right? So they do a good job of that. I always make it a point to get all of my customers, as many of them as possible, to every event that comes up, right? Because all that does is it builds mind share with the customer, right? So that is so helpful. And then by the flip side of that, I actually use marketing to my advantage as well, where as I'm talking to my customers and I find a gap, right? There's a need for a certain type of event that I look at the calendar and we have none of that coming up in the next year. I'll work with my marketing teams to go, hey, listen, it'd be great to host a CISO forum, Chief Information Security Officer forum here, because I've got 5 or 6 of them that are asking to kind of network and connect with each other. I know there's nothing on the agenda. Can we create one? And they will help me create one, and it builds such amazing opportunities from there to go get more business, that I completely embrace marketing. And if you want to be like a top seller, top 1%, marketing is your best friend.
I like that. I think it's true. I think like in-person socializing in a small group, being there one-on-one, opportunity to talk, and it's just so much stronger relationship building than any kind of remote conversation or email, phone calls. So I think here in Silicon Valley, we have a lot of tech events. And we also try to go to them because it's so much fun, but it's also so much more effective as far as relationship building. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think nowadays, customers do a lot of research online. They are researching so much more is available online. So what marketing puts out there as far as the content, I think has really influenced the buyers along the journey before they talk to a sales rep. So what do you think of that the whole change of the marketing now that there's a lot more data, it's a lot more online, it has really influenced the marketing has gained a lot more, I think, importance in that impacting the journey.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. You know, some things have changed, but some things, at least in my world, in enterprise software and enterprise sales, haven't changed all that much. So I totally agree with you. Customers have so much data out there, they can actually go online and research any solution because all of that data and marketing is out there.
Yes.
And it's amazing. They come so much more informed and knowledge when I start having conversations with them.
Yes.
It makes my job that much easier. But I'll tell you this though, what I found is it's great that they know, but the element that they really look for if they're going to buy your solution and adopt it is, can they trust you, right? And I think this is where enterprise really differentiates itself. Customers that I've dealt with for a long, long time, they trust me. They know that if I sell them this enterprise solution, it's not going to be a hit and run, right? Where like they are sometimes literally betting their badge and their job on the solution that I'm selling to them, right? And so if they're doing that, they need to know that it's going to work, right? They need to know that they can trust me to bring the best teams to go help implement it, right? Because if that doesn't go well, that's their livelihood.
That's right.
So I think that's how you really differentiate yourself in enterprise sales.
Right, you're right in that, because it's not just the product, but it's the professional services that goes along, the implementation, the integration, the onboarding of how to use that and get the maximum value out of what you just bought, right?
Exactly.
The customer success team after the sales.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's all true. I think you know, relationships really do matter. The technology's there. You have that credibility from your own experience of demo, proof of concept. But it really is also a competitive edge if you have that personal relationship where they know that what you say you will deliver, and you actually are not overselling, but over-delivering, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, wonderful. I think that ServiceNow has been a phenomenal brand that is just so well known, and you just have this huge opportunity to make a difference with your solutions. And I know it's like a module where you're going into different departments and offering it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I mean, ServiceNow, we have a platform, and then we actually have different modules that will go provide solutions for the different functions within companies like HR, customer service, security. And so we actually have such an opportunity to impact a big customer's environment.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Trong. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. And again, I really enjoy reading your book, and I would recommend it for those who want to learn more about your sales experience, your background. It's a great read. So thank you for sharing your sales leadership tips with us and talking about ServiceNow.
Thanks, Jessica. Have a great one, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.